What's up guys, welcome back to the shop. I'm Charles, mXrevival, mXrevival.com, and today is a very special day. I am so excited to show you what I just got back from Ride JBI in Southern California. We received our 2003 CR250 build suspension back, and it is ridiculous. I've seen photos of it, but I've waited until now to open it with you guys. So we're gonna do that in a few minutes. Other than that, I'm in an amazingly good mood. The last few days have been really great. I've just been out here doing my thing, building the bike, putting in the work, and there's just something so rewarding about being able to do that over and over, day in and day out. So a little PSA for you guys: if you're feeling a little down, a little blue, a little underwhelmed with life, go do something that makes you happy, especially if it's a little bit hard and it challenges you. That could be the pride it creates in what you're doing, or a little boost in self-confidence for accomplishing something. Whatever the case may be, I'm feeling it right now. And guys, the space, I'm just loving the space. I'm so happy in here. I was a little bit skeptical because we were not forced into it, but it was a decision I made sort of on a whim when we found out we had to move, and I love it. Like, every minute I spend in it makes me even more happy than the previous minute. I've got just about everything I need in here, and I'm actually going to do a little shop tour video soon. If you guys are interested in how I built this thing from scratch, it started as a raw 8.5 by 20 foot trailer. I'll go ahead and drop the playlist for you right here. Check it out when you have some free time. I never would have imagined enjoying it this much. It's just perfect. Alright, so before we get into that suspension, let's get caught up on what we did the last episode. You guys saw me vapor blast some radiators. You also saw me clean up all the stock rubber parts, all the grommets, all the bushings, all the radiator hoses, the air box that were just really stuck with impregnated dirt, the ECU wiring and ECU itself. All those nasty, dirty little things are clean. So let's check out how they look on the bike, and then we're gonna unbox some suspension. All right, so I think we went over some of these vapor blasted parts in the last video, but they are worth looking at again. They came out so freaking good. They're pretty much fully rebuilt. Need to get the brake pads. We've got a really deep and beautiful looking luster. The vapor blaster has been working overtime. We got everything new, even these little metal tanks. And my face has just been stuck into the front of that vapor blasting cabinet for days on end, and I love it. Get ready to go ahead and press in some bearings here shortly. We got our bearing kits. Things like this need a little bit more work. You can see there's some scratching in there. I did a really quick TikTok yesterday, which, by the way, we have a TikTok, so check that out. I thought I would hate it. Actually really like it. Man, everything is just looking amazing. And if it was too rusty, you know, I went ahead and replaced it. Like, this isn't vapor blasted because it's a steel piece. If I were to vapor blast that, it would just rust. So things like that, they're cheap enough and you can actually still get them, which is great. Everything's just looking real good, nice and bright. And then we have T1000 herself, looking so good. We've got the radiators on from last video. I actually went ahead and threw them back in the blast cabinet. They were a little bit too dull. Oof, look at that. Liquid metal, just insane. Alright, so tucked away over here we have our little box of suspension. Guys, you ain't ready for this. You guys ready? Are you sure? Are you sure? Oh boy. Alright, Ride JBI Suspension settings gives you some recommendations for softer, firmer, where your clickers are set now, oil height, spring rate. Really professional. Dude. Holy crap. Vapor blasted, DLC coated, no stone unturned. Thing is just money. You guys really need to check out Ride JBI. Alright, who's up next? Got a couple of fork legs in here. JB actually took the suspension all the way apart for me and then sent me back the individual pieces because you wouldn't want to throw the whole fork leg into the vapor blasting cabinet. I needed to have the lugs removed and everything separated so I could vapor blast them piece by piece in the cabinet. You guys ready? Ooh, show some leg. Oh, that is so badass. Just vapor blasted to perfection. Everything looks so good. The DLC is amazing. It's exactly what I wanted, exactly how I pictured it. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with DLC coating, no problem. That's actually this black lower shaft right here. Normally these are chrome, as you guys are well aware. DLC stands for Diamond Light Coating. This actually comes stock on all the Kawasaki's. It's a super slick friction reduction coating. So as your forks are traveling in and out, you're getting a lot less drag here. And the less drag and friction you have here, where the tubes come together, the better your suspension will work. And I think it's kind of obvious that it just looks downright ridiculous at the same time. Guys, what do you think? Did we do a good job? Do you like the Vapor and DLC look? What I tell you guys, is that suspension ridiculous or what? If you like it, smash the hell out of that like button for me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think the logical next step is to put the suspension on the bike, so we should probably do that together. Having the suspension back is a major leg up, because now that I have the suspension, I can of course mount the wheel. And of course now I can mount the handlebars, which means I can mount the brakes. So like I said, getting the suspension back is absolutely huge. Speaking of handlebars, perfect time to shout out my boy Jason Gerald at Phoenix Handlebars. He donated a beautiful set of 7/8 handlebars to this build, so I'll show you those as well. Guys, don't forget everyone I mentioned in the video today, Ride JBI, Phoenix, they'll all be linked in the description below. Guys, I also want you to meet somebody very special, newest addition to the family, our very first little baby. This is Onyx. What's up, baby? You're pissed off, huh? You want some milk? You want some milk? Pretty crazy. I was never planning on being a dad, or never really wanted to be a dad. And then when everything changed, my wife and I finally decided, after being together for probably 7 years. I think she just grabbed my tit. It ended up being pretty amazing. She's 2 weeks old as of yesterday, so very excited. Been waiting for an opportunity to let you guys meet her. What are you doing? You want some milk? Look at those blues. What a pretty girl. Hi. Hi, baby. Yep. Where's the milk? So guys, as I'm going through this bike, I'm going through all the hardware too. Obviously, we got a little loose nut right there. All the hardware in here is new. I'm trying to use hardware or reuse hardware where I can. And sometimes it's tough, because this bolt, for example, I was able to clean it up. It's one of the original bolts from the bike. And I think it only cleaned up, actually I know it only cleaned up because it's sort of protected from the elements in an area where dirt is getting, but it's not subject to like a roost hitting it and stuff. This is one of the old bolts. Most of the bolts in this bike looked like this. It's pretty tattered. If I were to wheel it up and clean it up, it would still look pretty bad. So all I did to this guy here was, since it was pretty much just dirty and dusty, I hit it with a wire wheel. Not really a big deal. You want to do that until you get it brightened up, but you don't want to take the zinc off of it, where you could actually burn the corrosion protection coating off of it. If I were to wheel this bad boy, I would probably end up needing to re-zinc plate it, which isn't the end of the world, and we can definitely do that, but it takes more time. So if I can save a bolt, I will. Something like this, they're also pretty affordable and still greatly available. So this is always nice. I mean, these bolts are probably a couple dollars a piece, and it definitely adds up. Oh, there goes the nut. I just busted a nut. It's time to throw that rear shock in. We got the bolt in hand. It's going to drop right in. Here she goes. On final assembly, you're going to want to throw a little bead of grease onto this bolt to keep it protected from rust and corrosion. So we're still waiting on our shock spring. Reason being, we went ahead and knocked all the yellow paint off the stock spring. We're just going to prep it, clean it, and throw it back in. And it ended up having a massive crack in it, which was crazy. I'd never seen it before. I'll go ahead and throw a photo up of that for you guys right now. But when this spring comes back, we ended up having to get a new spring, blasted all the paint off of it again. It's being super finished is what I'm told, which is basically like a tumbling or a polishing, and then clear Cerakoted. So I'm excited to see that. So it's time to get these bad boys up in the triple clamps. All right, so here's the deal with the front triple clamps. You guys saw how nasty some of the bolts were. I showed you one of the old engine mount bolts and how this one looked after I cleaned it up. Right now, I really need something very special. Another awesome contributor to the build, as always, the Bolt Motorcycle Hardware Pro Pack. This one is actually two-stroke specific. And guys, these things actually are pretty mind-blowing, because I waste a lot of money on OEM hardware when I don't need to, and sometimes I forget just how much is packed into these. Like, this is the rear axle nut. These are expensive. You buy these from OEM, they're really expensive. You get the washer, little things like this that are maybe not super hard to find, but it's in here, and you know, they probably don't need to put it in here. There's just so much value added stuff. Your pipe springs, all the long bolts for like your water pump, your primary clutch cover, things like that, like stuff that you kind of like, they're just giving you this awesome value. These are all the acorn nuts for the cylinder head, all the little bolts and washers for your pipe and silencer all the way front to back. You get some gaskets for like your oil drain, things like that, the water pump drain, all the bolts that hold your radiators in, triple clamp bolts. So we're going to be using these today. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are going in the triple clamps. We definitely need these. We can't reuse the old ones. They were really gross like the other one I showed you. What else do they have in here? All the stuff to put your subframe back on. All these locations here, all these exhaust locations. They have bar clamps. Okay, cool, that's awesome. I was hoping this was in here. I wasn't sure. I need those to mount the handlebars, the top caps. Those are really great. I was going to be looking for those and hopefully not having to buy them new OEM. So what else? Fork guards, all 6 of those there. Oh wow, that's cool. These are the little cap screws for your master cylinder. What a trip. These are to hold your front brakes onto your handlebars. These here, I'm going to guess, are for the front caliper to mount to the fork lug. So I kind of shoot myself in the foot once in a while. I forget just how much stuff comes in these, not to mention it's all itemized. Tank and shrouds, all the sprocket bolts, and what's great is this is all zinc plated hardware, so it's going to look really awesome, as you may imagine, tied in with all this nice vapor blasted shine. If I were to buy everything in here, I'd probably spend 200 bucks, maybe more, and it's just in here. I think these are $60 for the entire kit. Even better, 2-stroke specific. I mean, this piece alone, these 3 pieces alone are actually worth buying the entire kit. OEM Honda style for your brake rotors. Those hold your brakes to your wheels. Yeah, front fender and number plate. That's the little crush washers and the fender washers and all the bolts to hold your fender on top and bottom. Just an unbelievable amount of stuff and an unbelievable value in one box. So we'll need those, and we will also steal a couple of handlebar clamps out of those. I'm just always really impressed with Dave's stuff. As you can see, this is one of many drawers full of Bolt motorcycle hardware products. Where's the other? Oh, there's a few more. Anyways, I think you guys get the point. Don't waste your money on the OEM stuff if you don't have to. As you can see, I'm going to end up with extra bolts here too. Alright guys, here goes nothing. You may notice a screwdriver wedged into the bottom clamp and the lack of a top clamp. And this is because when I vapor blasted these tubes, I did remove the hard anodizing, so they are a little bit more susceptible to scratches and damage, and normally you'd want to re-hard anodize these, but I wanted to keep the finish very uniform. So for me, this bike is more about the concept more so than the longevity of the part, and I'm okay with that in this case. Alright, fork number 2 going down. That does not look bad at all, if I do say so myself. Another concept executed. JB, you did an amazing job. Very happy with your work as always. I love the DLC with the Vapor Blast. Couldn't ask for anything more. I think Dirt Bike Mag is going to be pretty excited too. So I jumped back into the Bolt motorcycle hardware kit in order to get the 4 bolts that are going to hold our handlebar clamps down. I end up finding them, and in addition to that, I end up finding the pinch bolts for the lower lugs that hold the axle, 2 lower subframe bolts that I also found in another bag, and then also another set of front caliper bolts, which I also found in the front brake bag. So literally there is a metric ton of extra bolts in this kit. And another really cool thing about the bolts is that they all have this dished head. It's like a stock Honda thing, but it also looks like titanium, so it's like a really shiny faux tie bolt. Anyways guys, I just can't say enough good things about that kit. And Dave, thank you for your support. Not too long ago guys, I actually drove down to Bolt motorcycle headquarters down in Paso Robles, California. I toured the entire facility, hung out with Dave, asked him a bunch of questions about how he got his business started. We looked at a couple of his older locations where Bolt used to be and everywhere he went as he grew. If you guys want to watch that video, It's right here. And like everything else, it'll also be in the description. Guys, this is about the point in bike building where everything is like a carrot on a string. The motivation is at an all-time high. Things are starting to come together. Things look amazing. So before we wrap up today's video, we need to jump into those Phoenix handlebars. Let's mount them to the bike real quick. Another great dude helping us out, Jason Gerald, Phoenix Handlebars, Southern California. You guys can check these out on the website as well, mXrevival.com. This should actually be a set of bars for the CR250 and the CR500 build. CR500 build is spread across the land right now. The engine's in Canada. Pieces of it are here and there. But guys, check these out. Jason always does an amazing job. Bars have a very designer feel. Packaging makes you feel special. Everything's always sealed with a gold sticker. Always a nice handwritten note inside. So what do we have? We got the Phoenix grips. These grips are so insanely comfortable. They're a little on the soft side. They're so nice. They're not too fat. They don't give me arm pump. Every set of grips that Phoenix sells comes with free safety wire, and it's gold. Got another set of grips. One's for the CR250, another set for the CR500. Another set of grips, not really sure why, but then again, it's just Jason doing his thing, being a swell dude. Throw these on the RMZ. Another set of grips, so there's 4 sets of grips in here. Again, Jason being Jason, thank you so much, bro. Now we got a set for the China bike too. All right, what's next? Another set of grips? Just kidding, not another set of grips, but that wouldn't surprise me if there were 5 sets of grips in here. So let's see it. We got, first up, we put these on CR250 today. These are the Phoenix 7/8 bend, otherwise known as 78s. Really cool black and gold motif. That's just the Phoenix way. Every set of bars is 800 millimeters wide with 57 millimeters of sweep or pullback, the angle that your hands are when you are riding. And what's cool about that is that no matter what bike I'm riding, I can throw a set of Phoenix handlebars on it and all my bikes feel the same. The one thing you can adjust on these bars is the height. These are 70s, they're the lowest. Then there's an 80, 90, and then 100. And that is the height from here to here. So your bars raise up depending on whether you have 70, 80, 90, or 100 millimeter rise. And my favorite are the 70s because I like a low bar. They help me turn really well, especially if I need to get into a rut. These are the 7/8. They are the smaller diameter here, which is going to go on the CR250. Then, as you guys know, there's also an 1.1/8 bar. Some people call them big bars, and that looks like what we got in here, which is, yep, a set of 1.1/8, otherwise known as the Phoenix 118s. So you have the 78s and the 118s, and these are their large bar version. These are the 1.1/8 clamping area. These are 90s, so these are a much taller than the 70s. Could probably get a good read on that right here. You can see the height difference when you hold them right up next to each other. The 90s are quite a bit taller than the 70s. Another really cool detail of the Phoenix handlebar is the black logo. It's kind of hard to see, kind of stealthy. I really like that. Super incognito. So guys, if you're in the market for a new set of handlebars, this is definitely a company worth checking out. They have a really designer feel, run by a great human being. Gotta love a personal note with your order. Gotta love the packaging. Gotta love getting 4 sets of grips for no good reason. Thank you, Jason. And now we're gonna go ahead and get these 7/8s onto the CR250 because back in the day, the CR250 came with 7/8 bar mounts from the factory. One more thing worth mentioning, obviously the gold is beautiful, but it's not really going to jive with what we're doing with the CR250. I think I'm going to be able to call in a favor from Jason and have him custom make us a different bar pad. So stay tuned for that. Get this sucker lowered. Alright, so that's a wrap for today's video. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed it. We got our Ride JBI suspension back. We've got a bunch of brand new and gorgeous looking bolt motorcycle hardware bolts in the bike. We have a really good looking set of controls with a really great bend. We got more than enough grips for the next few months. And past that, it's just really great to be back in the shop, be back wrenching again, making progress, making videos. I really appreciate you guys spending your time with me here on YouTube. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. So have yourself an amazing week. Stay tuned for more CR250 bike building. We're getting closer and closer to the finish line, and when this one wraps up, we're going to dive right back into the CR500. Until next time, keep it pinned. I'll see you soon.